Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 50, Business Insights with Matt Milia. And I'm super excited today because we're going to talk about how to take your business from zero to hero. And the question is, how do you do that? Well, let's talk about it. Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. All right. What's happening, Rahul? How are you?
Doing awesome, man. Can't wait for 2021 to take form. How about you?
Same. A lot of good things going into the year. And I'm excited for those. So for everyone that doesn't know you, Rahul, tell everyone a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business.
Definitely, yeah. So I'm kind of like a digital marketing dinosaur, if you will. I know it's still in its young stages of being around. My background is I used to work at a company called realtor.com. I worked on the sales floor. I was an awful salesperson to begin with, and then they didn't fire me. Luckily, they gave me the blessing of staying. I met no quotas at all until 90 days in. And that's when I started doing really well, started becoming a top 10 producer for the company. I saw a ceiling, so I left. I started my company, Custom Creatives. And my sole intention of starting this company was without a plan, without anything, not knowing that I needed to pay for my own laptop or internet connection. I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? And then my intention was to align myself with my old employer, realtor.com, and figure out how I can get myself a raise. So that worked out as a plan that started to take form. It took me about 4 years to take form, but then they became my client. So we became their digital marketers that built all their ads, their landing pages, and all that cool stuff. So the reason I wanted to go deep on that is that's how the journey began. It took me 4 years. Like I did really well in the sense of being a solopreneur leading up to it. Through hustle and just work ethic. But then the moment, that shining moment, it took like Michael Jordan many years to get to championship level. And this is my micro version of that, where I got a multi-7-figure deal per year from one client. So that kind of propelled me to be able to do smart things. I don't buy Lambos. I don't buy stupid shit. I bought a house. I reinvested into other things, and that allowed me the freedom and capacity to employ other people and grow the digital marketing agency. So I attribute a lot of my success to that early journey, and that's kind of what led me here. Is that a guy that dressed like this 10 years ago with a hat and backwards hat and t-shirt closed a 7-figure deal alone? Anybody out there can do it too.
I love that. It's funny too, because looking at your background with realtor.com, and I mean that's a very well-known real estate marketing lead generation company in the industry. So you are now present day working and creating ads for some of those bigger companies, or you're doing mostly real estate agents directly. What does that look like?
Yeah, so we went broad. So I've been working with realtors my whole career, still do. We have a separate brand that we branched out called realestateRainmaker.net. And that's where we do done-for-you services, call center services, lead generation, CRM. There's a whole gamut of stuff. And we even have like an online version that we sell to a lot of digital marketers actually, so they can just learn how to run ads in like a day. It's like a full program. Yeah, we sell it to realtors too.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we have a variety of clients. Like we have like coaches, consultants, lawyers, doctors, and we know which service to put people in so we don't break our business. It's very difficult to the young entrepreneurs out there to do this, because when you have multiple niches, you will break the wheels of fulfillment. You will break the wheels of lead gen, your messaging, your strategy, and also training people. They will not be the entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, you want to hire yourself, and they don't exist. Because they will be, if you hire you, they will be leaving you and taking your clients with them, and then they are your competitor with all your clients. So
True.
yeah, so that's why whenever we, like with a sales strategy, it's like, hey, We train people on, you just be good at real estate and we can just turn a blind eye at it. And all we have to do is pay money to sources like Google and Facebook and say, hey, we'll give you a whole bunch of money today. Just in the future, give us a shit ton of leads and we'll close those in 1 to 2, 3 months from now. And then we just treat all of our marketing like it's not a fucking cost. Sorry, am I allowed to say F words and stuff on here?
Go ahead, you're good. Yeah.
That's just part of my language pattern. They just caught that because I just talked to my mom earlier and she told me to stop. But yeah, we look at it as an investment, not a cost, because
Right.
like a cost to me is college. A cost to me is car. A cost to me is when your iPhone works and you get the latest upgrade. Stupid cost. You don't need new widgets and toys. Sacrifice now to live your dream earlier than later. So that's the way our mindset was wired, is like, I can get 3% return in a mutual fund, and then my wealth manager will jump for joy, and I don't know what he's happy about because I'm looking at what the fuck is 3%. It's better than zero in a bank, but I'm looking at my business and it's like, well, I invested 100 grand into ads, but then we made 800,000 on it. That's a pretty damn good investment. Maybe we should be doing the wealth managers. So yeah, that's the mindset I like to teach people, is like, marketing doesn't work. Like a Thomas Edison thing. It's like, I don't know the quote, I'll butcher it, but it's like, it took him 10,000 times to get it wrong so he can get it right. So same thing with marketing. Nobody has a crystal ball. You bet on yourself.
So true. And I'm really glad that you brought up, some of just the background, the bottlenecks, the challenges, but also you brought up areas that you were able to excel. People took a chance on you. And that's really what I want to focus on today, because so many people, especially now, with everyone working from home and things are so different than what they used to be. How do you go from zero to hero? How do you get these relationships with these big vendors, and how do you do it all while maintaining sanity and being profitable? Not an easy question, right?
Yeah, really good question. So I'm gonna take it back to the very, very beginning, the day zero me, walking out of my business or the employer, and I started in their parking lot on the way to my car. Already opened back then it was a flip phone, opened it up, had some clients that I liked, that I remember working with, and said, hey, can we do some business? I just left, I started my own company, and in fact, I'm still in the parking lot. So I just started building those relationships. I just started really kind of truly like networking right out the gate. Then what I'd go down to is I said, all right, because of my background, I already had the inherent niche. I already knew the lingo. I was familiar with it. So I learned from some good people, some great salespeople there too. So all I would do is I would spend like a lot of hours. And I look at things like daylight hours versus nighttime hours. Like nighttime hours is when people are supposed to eat dinner and watch television, and you don't cold call at those times. So I would, at my nighttime hours, I would spend I didn't sleep much when I was starting. I was literally, some days I would go like 2 days without sleep, because I wanted this badly. And I would build my lists. I would go on homes.com, Trulia, I don't know if Zillow existed at the time, or if it did. Oh yeah, Zillow did. So Zillow was Zestimates were popular back then. But I'd go on all the major portals, and then I would just copy paste their name, copy paste their email, copy paste their phone number, copy paste their any kind of data into an Excel sheet. I didn't even think to outsource it. I didn't even know that was a possibility, like a VA. I could have leveraged all that. I could have slept more back then, but now I know. But anyways, now you can scrape easier. But I would just call it. I'd pick them, call them, and then whenever I saw people that were spending money, I would just screenshot it and write a note in my Excel sheet. So now I knew those were my hot prospects, the money spenders. And then I would just cold call them, and I would introduce myself, that saying, hey, my name's Rahul. I used to work at this website, and then I see you have this ad. I think you can improve that ad. Would you be interested in hearing about it? And then their natural reaction is yes. I said, cool. And that's what I would sell them, as a new ad. I would start off with, you can improve that, because I already knew they were spending a shit ton of money on that. And why would you want to improve it? So I was like, if you spend 20 grand for the year on that, and you're only going to spend $500 with me to make it actually work, to make your 20 grand work. And I would joke with them. I'm like, you can actually be wasting your $20,000 because your ad isn't going to work. But why don't you just pay me 20 grand and pay them 500? And so I was like, that was a joke. I'm like, all you're going to do is spend $500 to solve a $20,000 problem. But the real goal is, what if you get 10, 20, 30 transactions? What if people actually pay attention to you instead of ignore you? So that's what the big game is. So I knew my strategy. I knew my niche. I found a problem that I knew I can solve easily, and I could outsource it really cost effectively. And that was the first thing. So everybody out there, I would literally fucking list build. Like go on Fiverr, find some dude that says, hey, get me this exact criteria. I need name, phone number, I need email address, web address, Facebook profile, LinkedIn profile, whatever data you feel you want. And I'm a gunslinger, like a wrecking ball walking in. And I'm not gonna click their Facebook. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna click their LinkedIn. I'm not gonna research them. I'm just gonna pick up the damn phone and call. And then
Right.
if they answer, I can literally click 2 links and it's open. And then I have talking points. But a lot of people, I think, will build the list, stare at the list. The phone is £1,000,000. They're going to click on the thing and then they're going to get into this little fucking scroll trap if it's Facebook. And all of a sudden you see ads, you click it, like, oh, let me funnel hack now. So the distraction happens. The key is detox from all that crap. Stay focused in a very small time block. If you have ADHD or ADD or self-diagnosed with that way, then just do 10-minute time blocks, saying in these 10 minutes, I will not look at any alert at all. I will not answer a phone call unless it's money ringing. And I'll only focus on this task. I'll see how many I can do, turn my iPhone timer on. And if I feel good, I do another 10 minutes, then another 10. Then tomorrow's goal is do 30 straight. So that's kind of it, is just keep life simple. Do not, I mean, if you want to make money, go get it, because they're not coming to you if you don't have any brand recognition, if you don't have money for ads. I'm a big fan of, like, these people need your call. They need to hear your message. You just need a crafty way for them to actually, like, want to talk to you, like differentiate. So when they start hanging up on you, that's actually fantastic news, because now you just figured out what exactly does not work. So now you just need a small tweak in your opening statement. And that one sentence you say is going to now get you an open ear to a person that could be a potential friend, referral party, or your buyer.
So true. And I have some great clients that we've met over the years for our inside sales company. And I mean, they're great friends. I mean, I would hang out with them outside of the business world. And I mean, they are, but I built that relationship through picking up that telephone. It wasn't, oh, I have this cold email. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying cold email doesn't work, but cold email is a very long-term strategy. You pick up the phone and you go direct to the decision maker. It makes a world of difference. So that's really good that you gave that. And for everyone that's watching, customcreatives.com/win. That is the site to go to get some amazing stuff. And Rahul doesn't even know this. I didn't even tell him yet. But when I started looking through some of his stuff, and I would always like to get familiar with everyone that I'm talking to, because we're in the same group together. We're in the same marketing group. And when I started looking at some of the content, I said, oh, well, this is really good. I started watching it, engaging with it. Wow, I could see how this would work. I click away from it, start working on other stuff, and I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes later, boom, masterclass with you right in the corner. And I'm like, whoa, he's got his retargeting dialed in. So kudos to you for that.
I appreciate that. I got to give all the credit in the world to people who are my media buyers, because I don't do any of that. I just say, hey, don't leak anything. Like when we break things down, because I have a short-term memory sometimes with my team, and they probably hate me for this. So if you're watching this, or you will be watching this, like and share this, guys. Like I'll literally break down every little step. I'll say, okay, when somebody clicks this button, are we tracking it? When somebody books a call, let's look at the email series. When somebody is on any page, how do we get different ads by page? Is that even possible? So I'm just kind of going through the vision map of what's the consumer journey, because we're using our advertisements to emulate ourselves. Because I want to be at hey, $97 masterclasses, it's so much value that we feel we bring. So we're whatever, we can go straight direct. Just say, hey, look, you don't know us, buy this shit. That's totally fine. But when it comes to our relationship building, we want to take our digital strategy and make it what we do offline. Because we're not looking for one night stands. That's just that rarely ever happens if that's somebody's goal. What we look for is build a relationship, get to know each other, see if we like each other, and if we're cool, let's have a digital beer. And once we have that, that's our intro call. Okay, we want to go to demo. Okay, that's a full out dinner. We're now making time commitment, and then it's a matter of okay, cool, I like this. Let's date. Give me a 90-day or 6-month contract, and let's see if we're going to be serious long-term partners. So that's kind of how we look at life in a map, because while the higher ticket you sell, the longer the relationship, or the bigger the problem you solve, at the right place at the right time, you can get a big deal.
So true.
And if you're selling cheap stuff, go ask for the sale right away. If it's $97 stuff, like just go ask for it. I mean, that's like, but then you have your low ticket to high ticket strategy, right? Give them low ticket stuff, solve a problem that they can come back to you and say, hey, dude, I just changed my opener, my agenda on your sales script and followed it to a T, naturalized it, practiced it, and people are fucking listening. I have $5,000 of pipeline. That's what you want them to feel and experience. Then they're going to be totally open to say, hey, this is working. I trust you. I like your teaching style. I like how you're whatever, very direct, very pinpoint, without wasting time of their time. Because when we train, like, I hate long courses. I hate that when people say 70 hours, I'm thinking like, dude, couldn't you do this in like 10? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Stop your analogies, stop your stories. They already bought. Like, give them the precise information. And that's really kind of how our teaching style varies, is that we just want to get a result as fast as possible, get a big win, and then people will trust in it, reinvest into themselves, and hopefully they choose us.
So true. And I mean, now, I mean, they've done a study, they said that literally goldfish, people have a shorter attention span than a goldfish, or about the equivalence of one, naturally, without focusing to an extreme. And that in itself tells you that you've got to be quick hitting. And I've even told the guy that does my Google training, which he's phenomenal, but I've even told him, I said, hey, maybe shorten up your messaging a little bit, shorten up certain things, because sometimes people will talk themselves into circles and then they don't get to that point. Mm-hmm. So that's a huge takeaway, especially when it comes for training, when it comes to that. This year for you, 2020, well, now it's not 2020, 2021. What do you think was like one of the biggest lessons that you learned, and something that surprised you in 2020?
In 2020, I don't know if it caught me off guard or it surprised me. It was just the fact that businesses avoided digital like so badly. And the learning curve from transitioning from television, radio, and billboards to digital is so mind-blowingly big for them. That knowledge gap, after all these years of knowing what Facebook is and Google is and all this stuff, they still have not adapted and can't comprehend how it works. So I think that's probably what still amazes me, that a restaurant owner says, oh, we get walk-in traffic. It's like, dude, now look at it. There is no walk-in traffic. Had you built a list, had you had cell phone numbers, had you had emails, had you had people on Facebook, you now have mass distribution and a broadcast system to say, hey, you don't want to kick it with your wife tonight and kids, get the hell out. We got takeout. We got the patio open. Come get a drink with the boys. Or, hey, family night. You guys been locked down too long. Have a nice home cooked meal, not at your home. Come to my home, my restaurant. So, or dentist office. We do emergency dentistry. We have COVID precautions and tests. Like, that just still boggles my damn mind that that we're doing such a poor job as an industry. Or there's just too many snake oil salespeople out there just blasting and burning. But as an industry, we have to kind of like adjust, give the message, get rid of skepticism, but also mostly give the clarity and certainty that that allows them to be able to understand what it is digital marketing can do, and not talk our language, talk a restaurant owner's language, talk the dentist language. Yeah.
I want to take a step back too. I mean, that was all really good. And I mean, for everyone that's listening, I mean, there's a lot of gold that's coming out here. One of the most impactful lessons I learned in 2020 was that, just like you were saying, you can't necessarily rely solely on referrals. And when we first started our inside sales company, we started back in 2015. We literally were almost 100% referral only. We weren't doing any marketing, and we were blowing up because we had really strong strategic relationships with coaches and mentors and people that were coaching in the niche that we were calling on. So it made it really easy for us to pick up business. But then as the years progressed, as things started to change, as different competition came into the space, it made it not just imperative, but it made it an absolute obsession to dial in marketing and learn it. And that's why I love to have marketers on, because there are so many things that you can be a great salesperson, but if you don't have a great marketing message and you can't get out to the right audience and you can't sell your product to the right audience, ultimately you fall flat on your face. And that's what a lot of people discover. So that was
Sorry.
And for me, Google was my biggest. That was my biggest. Like what I learned in 2020 was that Google was where it was at. For you, I'm curious when it comes to, if you had $10,000 extra right now, just laying around in budget that you would want to help blow and grow up, blow up your business and just grow it even more so than where it's at. Where would you spend it, and why would you go there?
Like, are we talking in the context of where I am now, or if I was new?
How about both? I like both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Okay, if I was brand spanking new, okay, and I was able, if I had a landing page that had my message, I did a video, and all that was laid out already. The first thing I would do is plan my hires. I would get my prospecting methodology out of the way. I'd say, okay, where are my clients hanging out? Let me hire a person, a Filipino or somebody in South America, somebody $3 to $5 an hour plus bonus, and saying, all right, work my LinkedIn, go get me a bunch of leads. I want 20 leads this month, meaningful conversations that show up. Work my Facebook Messenger, work a Facebook group. So I'd hire maybe 2 to 3 people that I can group manage, group train 2 to 3 times a week. So that's where part of my budget would go. The next part of my budget would probably go, if I had to spend it all, I would probably spend it on some niche-based ads. I would pick a niche or niche, however you pronounce it, that I like, and also do my best job to target people who have the capacity to spend money. So understand in the messaging how to do it. And that would be the strategy, is just literally throw some money, test some targeting, go to lead form to Calendly, and then just book appointments. That would be really it, is just buy the traffic, buy the business, because like at the end of the day, you can spend it on other things too, like a computer or whatever, forget physical equipment for a second. It's just that like early on, the lifeblood of anything is not how perfect your GHL sequence is, or is zappy or not fucking zapping. Who gives a shit about all that for a second? And
Right.
the real thing is, people start in the middle of the business, the product development, the service. Oh, I want to learn Facebook ads so good so I don't be scared to talk to people. Forget that. Put that aside. Have no skill of fulfillment whatsoever. The first thing you do is get people to know exactly what you do, get your message out there, get your traffic, your brand, start getting conversations, make the sale. Then you're like, oh shit, I got to learn this. That's where you want to be as a brand new entrepreneur, because then you can say, hey, I can learn it and do it. But if I do, I need to spend every waking night on this crap. What if I just found some dude that's got some great case studies? I interviewed him, I have a great relationship, and I can, if I have to pay him 500 or $600 to do all the damn work and all the reporting the way I want it, and I'm charging $1,500, I'm pretty much like making $900 a month per sale. I just have to be good at calling my clients once per month to make them happy. So
That's awesome.
yeah. And then backing into today, right now, if you give me $10,000, I'll just dump it all on YouTube.
YouTube. All right. I like it. YouTube is definitely up. Yeah, YouTube's awesome. So I've seen a lot, and a lot of people spend so much time on there just binge watching videos. So what would you do, like in stream ads, or would you do more of the, like, because YouTube obviously is a very different animal.
Yeah, I mean, I would just obviously test things. Like I would have my retargeting strategy in place, so I can just target everybody all dialed in. Then I'm not sure. Like I have a media buying team, so I don't know the exact names of the placements. But before the actual video you want to watch, that's the in streams. That's what I would do, because the first 30 seconds, if they don't watch 30 seconds, it's free branding, free everything. And once they click it, or if they go past 30 seconds, that's when we pay. That's exactly what I would do. But I would test every placement starting with that. And just the first stage of marketing is buying your data, because YouTube's getting to know you, you're getting to know YouTube, you're getting to know your target audience, and it's a mutual beneficial relationship. So it's not like, fuck, I spent 500 nothing. It's like, all I need is 1, all I need is 2, all I need is 3 to break even. So I try, when I'm starting something new in uncharted territories, whether it's a new offer or a new channel, I'm just looking at it as like, well, like, how long do we need to break even? Is it 1 month, 2 months? And we kind of create these trajectories. And our goal is not like profit right away, because then we set ourselves up for failure and pulling the plug too quickly. We want to say, once we figure out what's actually working, we give it the time it needs. And this is us speaking, and that's how we're able to articulate to our clients from our own experiences, that once it works, what if we just said, okay, we now have that crystal ball we've always been looking for. What if we threw more money at it? What if we just fucking blew it up? Or we can decide we're about to learn what's about to work, and let's just quit now. Let's call it a day. Fuck you, Facebook, or fuck you, LinkedIn or YouTube. You didn't work. But that's not the case. We got to make it work because we're the ones behind the scenes trying and testing because we already know it works, or they'd be out of business.
So true. So for you, how do you stay at the top of your game as far as like education goes, knowledge, and then ultimately you've got employees too. So I mean, like, how do they stay at the top of their game? Do you provide them with content, material? Do they teach you certain things? I mean, because that's always a good thing if you've got employees that will teach you things too.
Yeah, I probably learn a lot more from them than they do from me. I think initially, depending on where they come from, if they're right out of college, it's a blank slate trying to figure and mold. And then it's up to them to learn on their own and figure things out themselves to get stronger to stay. But we do Loom videos. Like when we see a problem, we're like, okay, is this just the individual issue where they're the problem and can't learn it? Or is it like, hey, this can benefit others? If it's to benefit others, we make an SOP. I just do a quick, like, I don't type it up in writing. It's a Loom video. If it's type worthy, something longer where it's like more step-by-step or things they bottlenecks, then I'll actually have a written version of it. But Loom videos are it. Then I buy trainings from smart people that are not the guy who made his first 10 grand and said, hey, who wants to learn how to make 10 grand a month? Not those shitheads. We're talking proven fucking guns over a decade of experience, people that you've never heard of and don't necessarily have a public authority figure because they're just underground, and they're like typically like Amazon #1 authors. So those are the types of people that we buy our trainings from. And then we have world-class access to take basically somebody that would probably fail potentially in life or have a dead-end job possibly for 5 years, possibly, I'm using the possibly word, by just saying, hey, day one, you're going to be talking to the best people that maybe have ever breathed air, and have access to them. Plus, you're going to be sitting next to us. And when you're learning, you follow, you listen to these conversations. If you listen to me talking, you now learn how to write content for me. If you don't listen, how the fuck are you supposed to be like me and sound like me on my profile? So that's how I scale up, is like, I'm not going to say, hey, here's what to say on Facebook. It's like, just listen to my authentic self, figure out how to write like me, and maybe not put so many F-bombs on it, things, but that's it. That's like my training, is like, just listen and just shut the fuck up and listen and learn.
Right. I like it. Well, and it sounds like you've developed a great following. And for everyone that's watching here, customcreatives.com/win. A lot of great stuff. And Rahul, first and foremost, thank you so much for jumping on. I mean, you gave a ton of value. And ultimately, I think that most folks right now are either in the getting ready to get ready stage, where they are in this constant mode of either over analyzing or getting distracted or allowing themselves to, maybe they'll try something, but then they want to give it, a couple of weeks, and they're like, I've already spent $100. I'm out of this. I mean, could you talk a little on that, about the process of dialing in the marketing, getting it right, and why it takes time in some cases?
Yeah, I mean, like think about a marketing strategy. I would remove the platform from any language when you're thinking of a marketing strategy. Think of like, who is your ideal customer? Spend time on this first, because then no matter what, you're going to be throwing shit at the wall if you don't know what your ideal customer wants, what their pains are. So on a pad of paper, like, don't use Google Sheets at all. Do not use any technology. Old school, whiteboard or paper only here. This is the only way it's going to stick here. Otherwise, if it's a Google Sheet, you may not name it. It's untitled. The folders may get all fucked up and it's all crazy.
True.
Use whiteboards or paper always for this. And then you just map out, okay, give it a name. It's Dan or it's Sally, whatever the hell, and saying, how can I get more Sallys? And then I'll say, okay, Sally it hangs out here. Sally is this successful. Sally has children. Sally's college educated. Sally's this. So now we know who the ideal customer is. What problems does Sally have that if I talk to her and gave her an answer to that, I can make her day, her life, her business 1% better? Okay, problem one. Same thing, problem two. And then now you can reprioritize the problems in the order you think is the biggest change and shift that person can have. Now we know exactly how to identify who our ideal customer is. Then we can go into the offer, associating that pain to pleasure. if this was out of your business, how would that feel? Finally, a way to get qualified leads and not have to pick up the phone to call them. They'll be booked and live transferred directly to your cell phone while you're eating lunch. And then saying the old ways are frustrating. Cold calling, these leads suck, they don't answer, wrong phone numbers. What if that didn't exist with a snap of a finger? You just got free leads. What kind of ROI and impact would that have for your life right now? What about in 1 year from now? So you're just really kind of writing your copy around a storyline, agitating a little bit of a problem, future pacing the problem, and just giving like some sort of like soft call to action. Because if it's a booked appointment, get them maybe into a VSL. So it's a short little letter. Nobody wants, like, realtors don't want to watch like 3-hour things unless it's like Tom Ferry and they have this inherent brand approach. But if it's you're an unknown, just have a straight to the point, like 5 to 7 minute thing. And they'll be more inclined to watch it. And then you can retarget them from there. So that's kind of like how I think about my approach of ads. I want to really kind of like spend a little time thinking like what problem can I solve for them? Who are they? So then I can intelligently speak to them. Otherwise, it's just really difficult, because I've done things the opposite way. Because earlier in this conversation, I said, do things like a wrecking ball. And I still think that's true, that we should be gunslingers, wrecking ball in some cases. But when it comes to identifying this part, do you know how much clearer your head is and your vision can be for your customer? Because I guarantee, like, if I ask 10 entrepreneurs in a group that are under 1 year, who's your ideal customer? Well, any local business owner. It's like, okay, so you have 5 million people in Southern California you can go sell to, but you have one customer. It's because you don't know your ideal customer. You got to identify with them, because with restaurant owners that are quick service, guess what? You have a $500 product to sell. If it's like, if it's going to be like a personal injury attorney that wants to be on the #1 for Google Maps and organic, you have a $15,000 a month product to sell. So
Right.
different problems people will pay for. So you just need to know who it is, so you know how to package, create the offer, and then agitate the problem, open the gap, future pace, and then sell it.
And you said that you didn't know how to do sales at one point or another. That all sounded perfectly put together right there. The future pacing, I love it.
Practice, awesome. Guys, practice. This is a learned habit. Like, it may sound a little natural. It's because relentless practice. So I was almost fired at my job at Realtor.com. 3 months. Our quota was like 30 grand a month. I closed $2,000 in 3 months. So I was, what's the math? I'm not a mathematician, but that's $80,000 under quota. Imagine that. So I went from a dude that didn't even like to order McDonald's through a drive-through, where I'd have to have my mom do it for me, to a guy that probably won't shut the hell up sometimes, where people are like, dude, I liked you when you were 16.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. I get it though. I mean, you just got to put yourself out there. That's all it is. Yeah. I mean, and it's getting to a point, it's being obsessed with putting in the time, the effort, and being relentless in your pursuit of being able to deliver your message perfectly. And it's not always going to be perfect. I mean, there's been times I've had calls, I'm like, wow, I can't believe that guy bought after that, because I just was all over the map. But sometimes it happens. But I think when you're more genuine, you're authentic, you are yourself, and you actually show genuine interest and care and engage with them and solve their problems, it's game over. And for everyone that's watching, don't sell the gizmos, the gadgets, the tech. Sell to the solution that you're going to provide to their problem. That is, and paint that picture so that you can paint the picture so well that they understand everything going in from the very beginning. They know what they're getting themselves into. They know why it works, and everyone tunes into the same radio station, WWIFM. What's in it for me? I think I added another W in there. But point being, what's in it for me radio? Go through that, and you will have no issues. So, Rahul, thank you again for jumping on. You gave a ton of great value. Anything that you want to close out with?
Yeah. So if you go to the website that is streaming across the bottom, you can, #1, you can take a look at this is a page that we send to clients saying, hey, if you're interested, check it out. And it gives them a ton of testimonials. You can see how we structure it. But more importantly, for you guys that own a business, it could be anything, but we made it for us. So we made it for ourselves internally. So I can just show people and talk about it inside of our team. For our digital marketing strategies for our clients. So we put it's at the top. I think there's a yellow button that says 7-figure funnel map. no opt-in required. Click it, download it, and there's links on that PDF where you can watch a video on how I quickly explain it. I think it's under 5 minutes. And I use that one slide. I used it yesterday, and I do it on Zoom. I literally use that one slide only for my sales presentations. That's how I conduct my pain, my problems that I expand from the clients, and then I can visually map them with a demo of exactly what they're going to get. So I don't get the question at the end. Send me information on this. Send me a proposal. It's like, you just got the proposal. You just got the information. You got the price. All I need is, are we ready? Do you want to you want to get clients now? Or is this something you still want to kick down the road and possibly stay the same? I don't know what's more important to you. And then we just make sure we get them that. So, and if you ever want to hop on a call with us, there's opportunities to just click the links for calendars. We do digital marketing coaching. We do marketing for our clients. We're a big fan of practicing exactly what we preach. So when we're telling something, we're telling it from, like, there's old values that still work today. And then there's also new tricks that have modernized the game a little bit. So like Tony Robbins is a big fan. I'm a big fan of his. I don't follow a lot of his content. I only like to go to live events where I can't pay attention. So when I paid him whatever his event, 10 grand and a couple others that are high ticket shit. The one thing I took away from 5 days of Tony and his whole entire team was focus on that dial, that little shift. So if you have a sales bottleneck, an operations bottleneck, a hiring bottleneck, in each category, it's a different unit of business. Make that one shift. Don't wildly change everything, because that could throw the course off. But if your marketing message is off, your advertising not working, it could be your ideal customer. Identify it. It could be your message. It could be that you were throwing shit at the wall and you're like, fuck, I do actually need to start from the scratch if you're too early into it. But typically just a little small shift in your business, like in your sales pitch, whatever it may be, it can turn into a winning effort.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you again so much for everything you shared. And guys, for everyone tuning in, go to customcreatives.com/win, and let's all win the day here. So Rahul, thank you again, and catch everybody here on the next episode. See ya.